Mahoraga gave Dabura the beating of a lifetime, something I did not see coming, truly. I did not expect Mahoraga to beat Dabura so badly that he actually beat him into flashback land. Like, he was hitting him so hard, he literally punched him right back into flashbacks when he was a child. This was genuinely crazy, and jokes aside, it was not something I was expecting in two ways. One, for Dabura's character, I did not expect us to get character development for Dabura, and secondly, I did not expect Dabura to struggle this much as well. Both of things I think are great for Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo. Not the best for Dabura's agenda, as we'll talk about in this video, but in terms of writing, fantastic. But now that we have the full translations for chapter 18 of Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, let us get right into it. So be sure to leave a like on the video, it always does help out. Thank you very much if you do. And of course, subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo content just like this. If you love Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, I promise you, you won't regret subscribing. So the first 6 pages of this chapter is basically just Rika and Maru continued. There really isn't much into it. I'll just briefly go over it in a quick minute, but yes, they're fighting. It explains what the ring is. The one disappointing part is it seems so far, as of only what I've seen so far, is that it's only a physical amp buff for Tsurugi, literally just putting Rika's head on and Rika having a funny personality, but other than that, there is no Jujutsu buff to it. So Rika has a lot of cursed energy, and I imagine that comes the reverse curse technique, but I was kind of hoping that maybe he would have access to all of the copy techniques Rika had. Now we know that Rika isn't the one who has the copy technique, it's Yuta. Yuta is the one who has the copy technique. However, I thought it could have been cool if, because all the techniques were ingrained on Rika for decades and stayed there, the copied ones, maybe they would have stayed on Rika sort of like a copy memory. It seems like maybe not. I do hope that changes, because you can see the pages of this fight. It's cool, but it's just a hand-to-hand fight. I like how Maru fights. Maru's is very interesting, how he shapes the world around him, changing the terrain, and we even see at some point in this fight he tries to do the same eye attack like he did many chapters ago, but it doesn't even work. It seems like Rika has so much cursed energy, is so strong. She literally powers through it, and even Maru is shocked, saying, damn, that's got so much cursed energy, what can I even do? Like, he's actually bulldozing me. And Maru even begins to activate his harmony on the plants, creating this wood style jutsu, just again showcasing how much of a special grade level character Maru is. I do hope we get to see more versatility from Rika. It's cool seeing a hand-to-hand fight, and I guess Maru makes this fight cooler, but if that's all Tsurugi's gonna be, just a punch kick merchant with Rika, I just think it's a bit of a wasted opportunity. Not complaining though, it's still really cool, just saying I hope we get the copy techniques. It could really bring a lot of flavor to this fight. Now into the thing that I really want to talk about, Dabura getting manhandled by Mahoraga. So I will go over this chapter from beginning to end right now, just so we can break things down in a lot of depth. I want to cover each page in depth, and then after that I want to talk about a lot of things involving Yuji quite a lot, and also Dabura as a character after all this, because I think it's elevated Dabura's character quite a lot. So of course we have page 7, the atmosphere change. So Dabura noticed something was up with Mahoraga. Literally, Mahoraga do realize that he is a very smart character. He does have intelligence. He doesn't speak. I don't know if he's capable or not capable. We don't know for sure. He's just never done that. But Mahoraga is someone with immense intelligence. I mean, mainly this is shown even by the anime showcase where Sukuna tried to fire dismantles at him, but it was a fake out, and Mahoraga actually assumed he was really attacking, so tried to counter those fake outs, showing us that there is thought with Mahoraga. He's not a mindless creature. There is a lot of thought going into it. Often this is even showcased with Mahoraga's own fighting style. It's not just a rampaging, hulking beast. He's got intelligence to him. He's got strategy. Just something that a lot of people often mistaken. And even Dabura noticed this, saying the atmosphere changed because Mahoraga knows it's checkmate. Dabura fires his technique from a distance. People don't really notice, but this one page, it's him lifting his finger, activating the technique. Mahoraga knows he's won. Now the technique activates on Mahoraga, but Mahoraga, in the most disrespectful way I've ever seen him counter a technique, he literally flexes his muscle and breaks it. Now this page is important because it shows us, and it'll be highlighted in the next page as well, that Mahoraga is completely immune to the light technique. It's not something where, oh, it kills him and he comes back. Mahoraga had already adapted to the light technique before, where it would kill him, but he could just simply regenerate from it. This has come to such a point where the light doesn't even affect him. Like, there's a difference between the light not being able to kill him and it not even being able to slow him down. For example, like we see in the next page, Dabura tries to fire his technique at Mahoraga and it doesn't even push him back. It doesn't even scratch him. It doesn't even do anything. This is pretty bad because the technique is completely useless. There's no applications for it. There's no benefits in this fight with it, at least in terms of it harming Mahoraga. Basically, Dabura would have to use it in an external way, affecting the environment, or internally affecting himself. There's no way it can harm him. But Dabura has a very shocked expression. This shocked page, you can see it's on the bottom of page 8, is being memed like crazy. You know, it really is reminding me of Sukuna when he screamed for his daddy Mahoraga. Funny enough, given Dabura is fighting Mahoraga, but it's when Gojo fired that red into the sky and it terrified Sukuna knowing a hollow purple is coming. It really reminds me of that, and people people are memeing this one panel of Dabura. I was about to say Dabura like crazy. In the next page, Dabura does blitz right behind him, but Dabura is very fast. He can react to Mahoraga's speed. It shows that it's not like Dabura is suddenly slower than him or physically weaker than him. It's just that his technique has no effect. And Mahoraga for the first time pulls out his executioner sword. And of course, Dabura does his classic. He thinks everything's sweet and nice. He puts his feet on his shoulders and tries to activate his technique with his palms. A very cool page how the X's come out, but nothing. Like no effect at all, as we talked about before. And in a terrifying page, Mahoraga is smiling at this. Like he has a full grin on it. Dabura is shocked, saying, did it have no effect? And for the first time he gets hit, we see the executioner's blade is swung and it cuts Dabura. And he's actually perplexed. You can see a shocked face saying, my technique is being nullified. So that was its ability. And then of course, a very funny page. You can't see very clearly in this page, but I hope I'm showing the raws right now. In the raws, for some reason it's more clear, and it'll be more clear when the TCB and Viz come out, but Mahoraga slams him with a traffic light pole. I don't know what Gege's obsession is with traffic light poles. We saw this during the Gojo and Sukuna fight. We saw this during the Mahoraga fight, specifically against Sukuna in the anime. There's always something with traffic lights and Honoured One level characters. It's a bit funny how this is the third fight Mahoraga has been in that involves a traffic light. The first was against Sukuna in the anime, the second was against Gojo, and now against Dabura. Traffic lights are just Gege's thing apparently. But yes, he slams him with a traffic light and that does big damage. With him continuing to say, it consumed my technique synchronized with it, Mahoraga having a devious smile, like he knows it's checkmate. With Dabura being completely shocked, like you can see he's taken out of it. Even as he's getting beaten, he's just stunned, saying, and after the rotation of that circle, the adaptation was complete. He basically figured out the technique after it was already finished, before it was time for him to win. And as he's getting pummeled, like literally getting pummeled, Mahoraga goes in for a left hook. Dabura tries to block it, but he's bleeding heavy. You can see as each attack goes more and more, he's not just physically getting beaten, but mentally you can see he's completely shaken after that traffic light hit. Mainly it came after the fact that he realized that his technique had been adapted to. When he realized his technique is nullified, you can see at that moment on the bottom of page 11, he realized, I've lost. And you can even see in page 12 continued, his just face is mentally defeated. And then he's physically getting beaten as well. He's saying, at this rate, do I have no moves left? Am I going to lose? Now this is a very sad realization, but this means he doesn't have domain expansion. I'm not saying he can't awaken it. It would be pretty cool if he ends up awakening it. That would be awesome. But this sort of implies he doesn't have one, because if he did, he would have at least said, you know, I still have my domain left. Now, even if he did use his domain expansion, he wouldn't win because the technique has been adapted to. If you remember when Yorozu activated the True Sphere, because Mahoraga had adapted to the technique, it didn't matter, because he just broke the True Sphere and then he one-shot Yorozu breaking the domain. It doesn't mean he'd adapt to the domain of Dabura, but specifically the sure hit, if it's light-based, it would have no effect on Mahoraga. So even if he did have a domain, it wouldn't really matter, but he just doesn't have one. This isn't great for Dabura scaling, for him having no domain, because it means the aliens don't know about domains, also meaning he has no simple domain or domain amplification or domain expansion to counter any character that has a domain. And what's even worse is they may not even have reverse curse technique. We saw that one, Cross never activated reverse curse technique on himself. It is different when someone else uses it on you, but if you have it yourself, you can easily heal the wounds that Cross got. Maybe Cross could have been an exception, but now we see Maru took damage in this chapter and he didn't activate it either. Okay, maybe they just don't have reverse curse technique. That's fine. But at the end of this chapter, Dabura, you can see, is very beaten, but he doesn't activate his reverse curse technique as well, which is a bit of a shame, because why don't they have reverse curse technique? Do they just not have positive energy output on their home planet? I really wonder, like, the aliens are strong and all that, especially Dabura, and I will talk about Dabura scaling at the end of this, but not having a domain, not having a reverse curse technique, these things really don't do well for Dabura versus other characters. But in any case, let's just continue. He says, at this rate, do I have any moves left? No, I don't have any moves left. Am I going to lose? Reminiscent of Gojo when he was fighting Sukuna and Toji, where he's like, am I gonna lose? And then we get a cool flashback of both Dola and Dabura looking young. Again, Dola, Duda, however you want to say his name, all the translations have different names for it. People say in a different way. I'll just say either or for this video, but he looks younger. When we see him in Moro and Cross's flashback, he looks like he's in his 30s, maybe 40s. But here, he looks like he's in his young 20s. He looks very young, honestly. Maybe he could even be 18 or something, Duda. Probably older than that, but he looks young. But Dabura looks even younger than that. Honestly, Dabura looks like he could be anywhere from 12 years old to 16, 17 years old. Genuine. He kind of reminds me of Naruto in part 1, where he looks 13, 14-ish. But in this flashback it says, wouldn't it be great for you to get along more with those Desunte guys? Dabura looks at him and says, or was it really right for you to stay with me? Duda, huh? No, that's not what I mean. I'm grateful. To put it bluntly, aside from you, Dabura, no one else is even worth fighting. Really showing us Duda was actually him. He was genuinely the strongest on his planet, bar Dabura. So not including an Honoured One level character, Duda, nobody can contend with. But being isolated even among your own people would be tough, wouldn't it? You've got your position as a traveler. traveler too. The Deskunte warriors have a lot of pride. If I mix in among the warriors, everyone ends up feeling uncomfortable. Basically what this means is Dabura is so strong that he makes all of the warriors of Deskunte feel insecure because he's just stronger than all. And then we see Dabura was thrown into a building and he's just on the ground, an insane page, probably one of the craziest from this chapter, where he says, you're amazing, Duda, think I'm about to lose to this. It hurts, I'm scared. And you can see like he actually is terrified, he's shocked. This is the first time in his life that he's been challenged. And we'll see a continuation of this next page. I end up winning even though I haven't really put much effort into it. When I'm rejected, when people cannot accept my existence, my chest starts to sing. I am a warrior and I am strong. And by the way, I didn't stutter, he actually said it like that, just going to showcase his character more and more, really reminding me of Gohan actually. But I do not want to fight. Haha, that's not it. It is not that Dabura doesn't want to fight. He has never fought in the first place. He is too strong to become a warrior. And Dabura doesn't get it. He's got a question mark on the next page. I don't really get it. There is a limit to what can be conveyed in words. Someday, someone strong enough to defeat Dabura will appear, and then surely you'll understand. And then a continuation from this flashback, beautiful by the way for Dabura's character, he gets absolutely kneed by Mahoraga, an insane devastating kick as Mahoraga is gleefully smiling, and he gets sent across buildings. And as Dabura is having this inner monologue, realizing what Duda's words meant, he says, I see, fighting because you want to fight, and refusing to fight because you don't want to fight. Neither of those was truly a battle, and as he's thinking about this, Mahoraga is hounding on him. Like you can see Dabura getting punched left, right, and center. He's getting absolutely disintegrated, like, and Dabura just is getting sent back while Mahoraga is smiling through all. The people of Lumia, will you protect them? You should be able to do it, Dabura. Both words from Duda and his sister, because you have to fight. And then of course he sees the people of Lumilians and the fairy tale power-up is coming. He stops Mahoraga's attack with his hand, breaking the executioner's sword. An incredible feat, and it says that is battle. The one who can do that is a warrior, and this page is really raw. If you look closely, Dabura may be looking down on the ground, but his third eye is staring intensely at Mahoraga. Very menacing, very cool, and something even more insane is in the next page, Mahoraga, I've never really seen this before, he actually not only flinches, but he's scared, and he runs back. I mean, this kind of reminds me of a TFS line. This is not the official Dragon Ball Z, it's the abridged one, but where Vegeta says in the abridged TFS dub, he says, can an android feel fear as he's fighting the androids? You know, can a robot feel fear? This kind of reminds me of that, where it's like, can a Shikigami feel fear? And the answer seems to be maybe. I mean, at the very least, he's cautious. It's hard to judge an emotion of a Shikigami because we can't see his eyes, but you know, you could say whatever you want this is. He's cautious, he's afraid, whatever it is. He actually just broke his executioner's sword of a block, simply standing there. He didn't do anything. Mahoraga sensed the change in aura, in atmosphere, and he jumped back heavily, and he's even like leaning backwards, and you can see Mahoraga's face. He's not smiling. He actually looks worried, or cautious, or even terrified. And Dabura goes on his line, hey, sorry about that. I will fight properly. This doesn't mean Dabura has been holding back. It just means that he was just fighting in the way that he's always been doing it, where, you know, oh, I'm the strongest, I'm gonna win this easily, I'll just use my technique and kill it. But now that this is actually close, now that he can actually lose, this has now become something where it was just, oh, it's my duty, I have to do this. For the first time, this has actually become a battle for Dabura, and that's what he means, I will fight properly. You can even see this changed completely his fighting style and even how his aura is, and even Mahoraga senses this. Dabura's technique, blank and light. However, Dabura's body could not withstand acceleration to the speed of light, so he never moved at light speed himself. This actually confirms that his technique this whole time has been light speed. So yes, Dabura's technique itself is the speed of light. All his light beam that he fires and the activation of his technique is light speed, but he himself was never moving at that speed. If the technique is being nullified, then what can be done is beating the enemy to death with my bare hands. And in the next page, crazy page, Dabura looks fired up for the first time, actually looking intense, actually looking like a warrior, and he says, raise the body strength and speed to the limit. Hey Duda, I'll become a warrior. Great character development for Dabura, saying unexplored by humanity. Dabura Karaba, the one who will dance at sub-light speed, voltage rises up, reminiscent of Gojo, the voltage rises up sign, where that was what the narrator said of Gojo when he began to hit the black flashes. Now again, a very great chapter for Dabura's character, saying he'll become a warrior, first time in a real battle, and just developing it, seeing his flashback, learning more about him. Dabura is by far one of the most compelling cases of an Honored One character I've ever seen. Like, genuinely fantastically written, because he doesn't want to fight, he doesn't enjoy fighting, he doesn't want to show off, he doesn't have an eccentric personality, he is so different from Gojo and Sukuna, but that's what makes him interesting, that's what makes him cool for me. He really reminds me of Gohan, and especially this is like Gohan versus Cell. Gohan could always have been Cell, but he was holding back because he wasn't a fighter, because he didn't want to fight. He was just forced into this life of fighting because of the situations around him, and it's the same with of Dabura. He never wanted to be a fighter, but because he was born with this innate talent, he was forced to always duel people and fight and such things. I really like this for his character. Again, with him even developing a lot in this fight, seeing his flashback, I mean, this has done wonders for his character. And again, he's gonna get a power-up now where he will use his own technique to move at sublight speed. So we talked about this in my stream yesterday, but sublight speed means it is below the speed of light, but it's relative to it. So people were saying that that means it's bare minimum 50% the speed of light, but it could even mean 99.99999% the speed of light. Now we can take that however you will, whether it's 50% light speed, 99.99% light speed, it doesn't matter. The point is he's going so fast, he's far faster than Mach 3, which was always hyped up, you know, Mach 3, Mach 5 being the highest speed of JJK, you know what I mean? So the fact that he's going this fast really does say something about how strong Dabura is about to be. And this is going to be crazy Jujutsu Kaisen power scaling upscale only if Yuji comes in and Yuji begins to react to the speed. That would say quite. Because if Mahoraga adapts to speed, that doesn't upscale Gojo or Sukuna, that's just Mahoraga adapting to anything, any phenomena. But if Yuji is able to react to it, then that would actually upscale everybody's, specifically the Honoured One level characters. Now, Dabura getting beaten the way he did, there are fraud allegations everywhere. I'm not gonna lie, this is not a good look for him. There's the writing aspect in reading JJK. Of course, this is great, all of this makes sense, fantastic stuff for Dabura as a character. But when you come into the agenda part and all that stuff, yeah, the agenda of Dabura took a massive hit. Him being scared, him getting beaten the way he did, him not having a domain or reverse curse technique, losing to Mahoraga. I mean, he hasn't lost, he's gonna win this, I think. Maybe Yuji's gonna step in, but just remember, Gojo was handling a Mahoraga who was amped by Sukuna's output and cursed energy, as well as a fusion beast Agito, also amped by Sukuna's cursed energy, as well as Ryomen Sukuna himself in a free v1. And Gojo was handling it masterfully. I mean, dodging Mahoraga and Agito. This was, by the way, a Mahoraga who was fully adapted to his infinity, a tamed Mahoraga, and Gojo not only one-shot Agito with a Black Flash, he destroyed Mahoraga and almost killed Sukuna. Like, he actually handled it very well. Compare this to Dabura fighting an untamed Mahoraga that's also, in a sense, mindless, because at least this Mahoraga that Gojo was fighting was not only adapted to him and not only was buffed by Sukuna's output and energy, but also had Sukuna in his mind enhancing his thoughts. He had instructions going. It does show you that there are levels to this, and I want to say, it doesn't mean Dabura is weak per se. It seems like in terms of cursed energy, physical strength and speed, like physical stats and actual technique, like how good his technique is, mainly in the cursed energy and output, all those stuff, he's on Gojo and Sukuna's level. I don't think there's any question about it. He's definitely on their level. If you put him hand to hand with Sukuna or Gojo without his infinity protecting him, you know, without the barrier just blocking every attack, I think he would do great against any of them. I think he'd be even with them. I think in terms of his technique, how good it is, he's even with them all. But the difference comes with he has no battle experience. He's never had to fight anyone on his level. Whereas Gojo and Sukuna have had to do that in the past, and that's elevated them. And not only that, but they're actually strategists. Especially Sukuna, like they can't even compare to Dabura. Sukuna is the best strategist you've ever seen. Gojo is not bad himself. He's a great strategist. Dabura is not at all. I mean, it took this long just to figure out the adaptation. And I know he's never seen Mahoraga before, but Sukuna had never seen Mahoraga either before. But that's what goes to the experience, because Sukuna's had experience fighting all these strong opponents like the Yamato no Orochi. Dabura doesn't have that, and it's showing. But not even including all those things. He doesn't have a domain expansion, or simple, or domain application. He doesn't have reverse curse technique. And his technique is pretty straightforward. He has two techniques, but it seems like my original theory was right, where he combines them both into one, and it's just basically the light technique. Whereas Gojo is insanely versatile and complex, and even Sukuna has his slashes, but he's got his flames as well. So yes, I can understand why characters would just sense his cursed energy and assume he's Gojo and Sukuna's level, because in terms of cursed energy and aura, output, strength, speed, technique, he is. But if he were to fight any of them, they would utterly wash this guy, like unequivocally wash. And that's not bad for Dabura's character. I think he's a great character, and I think this chapter actually made him a great character, even more so, developing him quite a lot. But it just goes to show us that in terms of power scaling, everyone is Gojo and Sukuna's level until it's time to actually fight somebody on Gojo and Sukuna's. Now, I do think Dabura is going to win this. I do think so. I think Yuji is probably going to be in the one to show up, and it's very funny because I thought Yuji would have to maybe save Mahoraga or something and then one-shot Mahoraga, but Yuji might have to come in and save Dabura, as crazy as that sounds. But it's pretty funny. We thought Yuji was going to have to fight Dabura, but maybe Yuji's going to have to fight Mahoraga instead, right? Yuji, please save us. This is an untamed Mahoraga that Dabura is up against. But hey, that's all from me. Let me know your own thoughts in the comments down below. Be sure to leave a like on the video, it helps out so much. Thank you very much. And of course, subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo content like this. If you love Jujutsu Kaisen Modulo, you will not regret subscribing that much, I promise you. But hey, that's all from me. Have a great day, guys, and take care.